Hello, so this is a revision video for AP Chemistry 1.3, Elemental Composition of Pure Substances. A chemical formula tells us the types and number of atoms in a substance. Some substances are made up of individual molecules, like H2O or C6H12O6, whilst others consist of ions or atoms in fixed proportions, like NaCl or Fe2O3. An empirical formula gives the simplest whole number ratio of elements in a compound. For example, the simplest whole number ratio of hydrogen to oxygen in hydrogen peroxide is 1:1, given an empirical formula of HO. The law of definitive proportions tells us that every pure compound has the same elements in the same fixed mass ratio, so even if we have different samples of a compound, the mass ratios will always be the same. This sounds more confusing than it is. For example, water H2O always contains 2 grams of hydrogen for every 16 grams of oxygen, a ratio of 1:8 by mass. So regardless of how much water you have in a sample, the ratio of hydrogen to oxygen by mass will always be 1:8. Or in other words, every 9 grams of water contains 1 gram of hydrogen and 8 grams of oxygen. We can determine empirical formulas from mass or percentage composition data. First, we have to convert each element's mass or percentage to moles, and then use those moles to determine the ratio of atoms of elements in the compound. For example, find the empirical formula for a compound with the composition by mass of 52.2% carbon, 13% hydrogen, and 34.8% oxygen. Well, these percentages by mass tell us that for every 100 grams of this compound, 52.2 grams would be carbon, 13 grams would be hydrogen, and 34.8 grams would be oxygen. We can convert these masses to moles using N equals M over Mr, mass divided by molar mass. For carbon, that would be 52.2 divided by 12.01, so 4.35 moles. For hydrogen, 13.0 divided by 1.008, giving us 12.9 moles. And for oxygen, 34.8 divided by 16, giving 2.18 moles. So this means in every 100 grams of our compound, there's 4.35 moles of carbon, 12.9 moles of hydrogen, and 2.18 moles of oxygen. To get this into the simplest whole number ratio, we divide by the smallest number. The smallest number here is oxygen, 2.18. So 4.35 divided by 2.18 gives 2. 12.9 divided by 2.18 gives approximately 6, and 2.18 divided by 2.18 gives 1, giving us an empirical formula of C2H6O. Exam tip here, always check that your final empirical formula makes chemical sense. It should always be whole numbers and reflects what's possible based on the elements involved. If your calculated ratio gives 1.5 or 1.33, multiply the ratios to clear the decimal. For example, times everything by 2 to get rid of 0.5, or times everything by 3 to get rid of 0.33.